Hello, welcome to Occult Quick Tip. Here we will give you quick but thorough information on all things occult, mostly books. I'm Frater Shinjod and this is OQT. In this episode we will look at The Art of the Grimoire by Professor Owen Davies. This book is for you if you're interested in the historical lineage of magic, in particular written magic. You're looking for a deeper understanding on how magic has been transmitted, cross-pollinated and evolved between cultures and civilizations. If you want to know more about the famous grimoires, where they came from, what's in them and what inspired them. Dr. Owen Davies covers all of this and more in his extensively illustrated book, The Art of the Grimoire, published by Yale University Press. Owen Davies is a professor of history at the University of Hertfordshire, specializing in the history of magic, and is responsible for a large number of scholarly books, published mostly by renowned universities such as Oxford University Press, Manchester University Press, and other high-quality academic publishers like Palgrave Macmillan. He has been called Britain's foremost academic expert on the history of magic, and in my opinion that is a very qualified title. The first book I came across by Davies was Grimoires, a history of magic books, published by Oxford, which is more dense and less illustrated than the book currently being discussed. In fact, I would recommend that you first read the new book, Art of the Grimoire, and if you like it, read Grimoires, a history of magic books. Info on where to pick up both books and to the publishers, etc. will be in the bios. Now, let's look at The Art of the Grimoire. The book has 356 pages, although it is richly illustrated in color, so I estimate about half the book is composed of texts and the other half of images. Even while taking an academic approach and is fleshing out complex topics, it's very user-friendly. The text is easy to approach for almost anyone, yet at the same time goes deep enough to be of interest of the most seasoned practitioner. Because it is written this way, and of its illustrations, you will finish it in a couple of afternoons. It is important to note that this is a work on history with no focus on practice. That being said, to be able to perform and understand practical occultism, knowing and understanding its culture and history is paramount. That being the case, I recommend this book to everyone. And now, onto the book itself. The book is composed of 6 chapters, going over the history of written magic in a chronological order. Chapter 1, Ancient Materials, deals with the very beginnings of written magic in cultures as diverse as Jewish Aramaic incantation bowls, Roman defictiones, Chinese oracle bones, etc. Chapter 2, Parchment Paper and the Book, starts out discussing Coptic Egyptian texts, how magic started being written and transmitted by paper in the 5th century Common Era. It then talks about the library cave, which is a kind of Geniza in China. It also details how parchment and paper was made. Chapter 3, Printing Magic. This chapter starts out by looking at the origins of block printing in the 2nd century BC in China, discussing various Buddhist texts like the earliest printed scroll of the Diamond Sutra in 868 of the Common Era. Moving through the witch trials and famous texts like the Maleficiorum, 1478 CE, we now arrive at the part of the book that I am and believe most of you will be mostly interested in. Chapter 4, Manuscript Culture Thrives. Names like Reginald Scott, Agrippa, John Weyer, Robert Flood and Paracelsus, to mention just a few, fill these pages, and books such as The Dragon Rouge, De Faustus, Heptameron, Supreme Mysteries of Nature, Grimoire of Pope Honorius, and Agrippa's fourth book of occult philosophy and many others makes this chapter well-rounded and inclusive. So you can see, this chapter is filled with the names and titles that we all know and love. It also talks about lesser known works and span cultures as diverse as Sudanese Islamic amulets to Icelandic manuscripts. Chapter 5. The Power of Pulp Prints. Works of pulp magic play a large role in how magic transformed and became as readily available as it is today, and this chapter goes a long way in telling that story. Chapter 6. The Contemporary Grimoire. Talks about modern books of magic and the appearance of grimoires in pop culture. In the intro to the book, it is written, "To understand the history of written magic is to understand the influence of the major religions of the world, the development of early science, the cultural power of print, the growth of literacy, the social impact of colonialism, and the expansion of esoteric cultures across the oceans." Obviously, this is too arduous a task for any one book to cover. I do think the present work goes a long way in presenting the history, culture, and work of written magic. Thank you for watching. See you soon.